Good morning, students, and welcome to Monday. This is your last full week of the school year. 8th graders, your last full week of middle school. Congratulations. Let's finish the week strong so we can have an awesome time wrapping up the year and head into the summer on a high note. Okay, so for starters, what animal has more lives than a cat? Because you know, like a cat has been known to have 9 lives. It's kind of out there. A frog, because it croaks every night. Because croak is like a synonym for like dies, and so if a frog croaks every night, like it's literally making the croaking noise, but it's like, so then it comes back every day, it has more than 9 lives. Frogs, they live forever. Not really, but you know, for this joke, I guess. So anyways, this week we really only have 2 things, right? I want to make sure you have time to do well on these 2 things, and so that's going to be it for this week, okay? Number 1 is going to be our fantasy reading final project, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then number 2 is going to be the last thing we do in MobyMax Language. We're going to be taking a grade level test, and so I'll show you a little bit about that, okay? Other than that, this week is about finishing anything else up you have from the year. So any missing assignments, any revisions you need to do, any last things you need to turn in. Friday of this week is the last day to turn anything in. So check those missing assignments, make any changes, because we got to get that taken care of so we are ready to roll into our fun short week next week of wrap up. Okay, so let's start by taking a look at the MobyMax Language Test that we're going to have you do. For the MobyMax Language Test, right, we are going to have you do the test based on your grade level. So if you are a 6th grader, we want you to do the 6th grade test, 7th grader, 7th grade, 8th grader, 8th grade. This is kind of just for you to see, hey, after all this MobyMax, all the learning that you have done, what do you know ending up this year and heading into next year? Maybe what are some things to review? So it's just kind of a good snapshot to kind of see where we are at. So step number 1 is you are going to go to MobyMax, right? Remember, when you go to MobyMax, you go to log in as a student. The Butler code is WI220, and then you're going to enter in your username and password, so at the beginning of your email, and then your lunch code. Okay. Once you go in there, I've got a short video here that shows you how to access the test. Okay, you're going to access the test. It's short, somewhere between 30 and 40 questions. Do the best that you can, and then you are good to go with MobyMax. You still have the ability to go in and practice and do that every single day. I would encourage you to keep doing that because practice is going to help. A little bit of reading, a little bit of writing, a little bit of grammar every day is extremely important and good, and so keep doing that. So here's the quick tutorial, the quick video to show you how to access that test. Alright, so when you come into MobyMax, right, these were all of the assignments that we may have had. And so to get to the test for your grade, what you are going to do is you're going to click on the bookshelf up here. And when you click on the bookshelf, you're going to see all of your different modules that show up in here. Okay, what we want you to do is you're going to go all the way down to where it says tests. When you click on tests, it's going to say your grade level test right there. It will tell you how many problems it is. We want you to click on the grade level test and then make your way through it. Okay, so once again, let me show you where we're going to go. So we are at the page with the books where we have all of the different modules. You're not going to click on language, you're going to click down on tests, and you are going to click on your grade level test and complete that. Alright, then the last thing we have is a final project for your fantasy reading. So even if you are not done with your fantasy novel, that's okay. It would be great to get as far as you can, but I want you to do the project even if you're not done. Okay, that's more important. And so we did our literary terms and literature worksheet, right, in which we were looking at theme, symbolism, conflict, archetype, cliche, and finding some examples of those in our book. We did all of those reader responses, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, when we were thinking about how those things showed up. Now I want you to create something, and I want you to have some fun with it. So to bust out your artistic talents, So there are a few things that you can do, right? I want this to be a visual, so something that we can see. I want it to be colorful. I want it to have some good pictures, some good artwork on there. So you can either, number one, make a poster. If you have supplies at home and you want to make a poster, that would be awesome. With a section for theme, symbolism, conflict, basically all those things on the Lit Terms in Literature worksheet, you're going to just put it into a nice visual, right? If you have done the Lit Terms and Literature worksheet, then that's basically your project, right? You're just going to take that and now turn it into something that we can see, okay? So number one, you can do a poster about that. Number two, maybe you have sidewalk chalk and you want to go outside and turn either part of the sidewalk, your driveway, a patio, something like that. Make that your canvas and do a nice little visual out there. Okay, maybe you want to create something else inside your house using whatever supplies you have. Go ahead and do that. If you're like, yeah, you know what, I don't have anything physical to do, then go on your iPad, right, and use a program on there. Try to stay away from Google Slides. So you've done a lot of Google Slides, right? Maybe check out Canva or Adobe Spark or Book Creator, or something that allows you to use your artistic talents to make a nice kind of visual display of it. And so that's what I want you to do. I don't need anything extra, right? Just a little bit about your book, a little bit about each of those different terms. So again, check that Lit Terms and Literature worksheet, because that's what we want you to include. If you filled that out, then you're basically just transferring that into a visual, into something that we can see, that then demonstrates or shows your understanding of it, okay? And then whenever you get that done, maybe you work a little bit each day. Maybe today you work on the theme part, tomorrow the symbolism part, then Wednesday the conflict part, and then Thursday you wrap up the cliche and the archetype, and then you're ready to turn it in. Okay, so you don't need to sit down and do the entire thing in one day. Split it up a little bit each day, because that's it for the week. And so maybe take one term a day and kind of roll through that as you go. Okay, have some fun with it. I'm looking forward to seeing what these look like. If you physically make something, you will take a picture of it or a short video that's kind of showing it and you explaining it, and turn that in Google Classroom so we can see all of your amazing projects. Alright everybody, so that's about all we have for you today. We hope you are doing your final project, that you are also doing that MobyMax test and having some good time with it. I wonder if Mr. DeMarais decided to use a filter here at the end, or if this is just boring. Let's take a look at what's going on. Gotcha. Fantasy. It's really good stuff. Oh. If I talk too loud, then it keeps bugging out. Just be sitting here all of a sudden and say, have a great last week of school!